Hi everyone, this is Mitra from Mitra-et-le-Parfum. This is a channel we discuss fragrances from cheap to luxury. If you are new here, welcome. Please feel free to like the content, and subscribe if you wish. And if you are a subscriber already, thank you for stopping by again. This is my second take on this video because the first video I recorded it and unfortunately the audio doesn't work. So it was quite sad. I uploaded it already and then I kind of realized the audio isn't working. So I had to do rerun of this video. It was about 45 minutes. If you know me, I have a really busy life. So it's very difficult for me to put aside a 45 minutes to do a video. Plus that I don't write the script or whatnot. So this is not going to be exactly the same as the first video, but here it goes. So for a long time, I have been agonizing over this video. I wanted to do the top 10 ambers in my collection, but if you are familiar with my collection, the cabinet behind me there is one of the 3 cabinets that I own. That's actually smallest the cabinet, smallest of them all. And I have about 700 to 800 fragrances. About a third of them are ambers. For this video, I pulled out all my amber fragrances and one by one, I went through them and the selection. I posted videos of other ambers that I set aside. I still love them, so I thought I should give them a light of a day and kind of introduce them on my channel. But finally, this 10 made it to top 10. That's being said, if I had Sultan Pasha's Quintessentially Amber, so this is Quintessentially Amber by Sultan Pasha. If I had received this fragrance before I started, like with the idea of this video, I would have picked that to be there and probably would kick off one of these fragrances that it's there in front of me off this list, which would be very difficult, but I'll tell you later which one it would be. So, and that would be probably my number 1 amber at the moment. Hats off to people, to those of you who do like top 10 lists a lot of times, because I don't know, this is very time consuming for me. Maybe I'm just too attached to my perfumes and I have too many of one genre of perfume to kind of go through them and try to narrow them down and come up with top 10 and not feel guilty about kicking one off the top 10. Anyhow, and this is my second take. I mean, it's not a bad thing because this morning the yard guys were here and they were quite loud. So if the audio had been working, there was also a background noise. So maybe this is not a bad thing to do it again. Here we go. For this video, I decided to pick some discontinued fragrances and some fragrances that are still available. Some are kind of the versions that I will be talking about are discontinued, but they also have the versions that are not discontinued available in the market. And they're pretty much, the same. So the first one that I'm going to be talking about, and I'll bring up the file here that I have prepared, is from de la collection Couturier Parfumeur Mitra. So as you know, Christian Dior has a collection privée and then has a collection couturier. Now, I can't remember what other ones are in the collection couturier. I think actually Cheval Blanc, which is the exclusive to their spa in Paris, is in the collection couturier. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. Mitra, when I came to a fragrance game, was only available to purchase in the boutiques in Paris. And in 2023 was discontinued and it was off market. By the June of 2023, when I was in Paris, I could not find it in any of the stores. So it is gone. I know it came in 250 and 450 milligram milliliter decanters, but I'm not sure if it comes in 125 or it ever came in 125 or 40 milliliter one. So let me know if you know if it came in the smaller sizes. This fragrance is a 2010 release, and I hear that mine is not first year release, but I hear that the first year release one was much better than the version that I have, which which I have a hard time imagining it because the version that I have is absolutely gorgeous and beautiful. If you know something about me, you know that I love labdanum heavy ambers, and this is one of those. So I have pre-sprayed blotters here for trying. So it would be Mitra. Here, this is the bottle that I have, pretty much similar to what you see in the picture. This is a 250 ml bottle. I no longer will be decanting out of this bottle, and I'm going to keeping it all for myself. And here is the pre-sprayed blotter, similarly to what I smelled this morning. Beautiful labdanum, incense, amber, vanilla, cinnamon, and cardamom. There is rose, but rose is a kind of backbone. It's not really heavily floral or anything. This is so cozy, so warm, so enveloping, like in a really cold winter day. This is perfect. And longevity sillage, beautiful. This might not come off of your sweater, you know, in a wash. So, you know, I wash my sweaters in cold water, but the first time it happened, I went to get my sweater. It had dried off, and it's like, oh my God, it still smells like Mitra. So beautiful, beautiful fragrance. Quite good for cold days of winter. And this is quite so warm and cozy. Like, to me, amber fragrances are cozy fragrances, and they're kind of like a soul food similar to soul food in food genres. And this absolutely fulfills that. The second perfume I'll be talking about is Chanel Coromandel. Now I have, let me just bring up the slide here. Chanel Coromandel, this is from the Les Exclusives. The Les Exclusives, I think they launched in 2007, if I'm not wrong, with 4 fragrances at the time. And Coromandel was one of the first 4. So however, they came to market as EDTs, and then later in 2016, they reformulated them to EDPs. I know people talk about EDT and EDP in terms of concentration, but it seems like some of the EDTs are better performing and better longevity sillage than EDPs. And Coromandel is the one that, it's really not longevity and sillage, it's more how kind of deep and resinous is the EDT comparing to the EDP. I have a couple bottles of the EDT, and the way you know if a Chanel bottle, what concentration is a Chanel bottle, because it's not in the bottom and it's not on the box, which is kind of inconvenient, until I discovered later that it is in the back of you see in the back of the label, it says it's Eau de Toilette. So this is Eau de Toilette, and I think this is a 2008, but I may be wrong. Chanel batch codes are repeated every 8 years, not 10 years. You know, it's often people have difficulty timing them because they compare them to the other most brands. They repeat the batch codes every 10 years, but Chanel is every 8 years. So Chanel Coromandel is a 2007 release, and it is a collaboration between Jacques Polch and Christopher Sheldrake. Rich Mich told me that Christopher Sheldrake stopped working with Chanel in February of 2025. So I'm curious what happened there. I think he was the purchaser of the material, or like would test the quality of material. So I don't know what happened there. Anyhow, this fragrance, absolutely beautiful and an icon in the Les Exclusives line. But to be honest, to me, this one and Le Lion don't smell like the rest of the collection at all. The rest of the collection is all about the aldehydes, is all about the kind of iris. And this one is all about the patchouli and all about the ambers. This one is absolutely gorgeous and beautiful, and I love it. Le Lion, I have recently found out that Le Lion is the one that I need to just do one spray and away from my face, and then I enjoy it. But if it is like too many sprays, it will be choking me and it will be wearing me, so I wouldn't enjoy it. But let's talk about Coromandel. You see the notes. What I get the most from this fragrance, this is EDT, mind you, but EDP is pretty similar. And longevity sillage wise is similar, but the price difference is huge in the market. So you could get a bottle of, let's say, EDP in the gray market about 400, and then 400 USD, and then if you're looking for EDT, is about 800 USD, which is a huge price difference. I don't think it's worth it. However, this is all about patchouli and amber, and it's so, so good. This one also has an edge that like Mitra doesn't. Mitra is that kind of like bear hug amber. And this one has some sort of seriousness and some sort of like edge to it, which I really, really like. In that, I think it's the incense, the patchouli rose combo that always brings that. That was so good. So, so good. And there's a white chocolate note in this one, and I know people talk about the white chocolate note. I never understood the white chocolate note until a while ago, where I was wearing the Chanel Coromandel body oil. They now have body oils, which are beautiful body oils if you're getting off the bath and kind of not completely dry, like because to lock the moisture, you put the body oil on, and it's not sticky or it doesn't stain the clothes, which is great. And then I layered it with Coromandel EDT and topped it off with Parfum. And then I started kind of smelling the white chocolate note, and which is the first time ever that I smelled the white chocolate note in this one. Absolutely beautiful. And that bitter orange, it still comes off. Like these blotters have been sprayed like about 25 minutes ago. So still it's in there. Absolutely gorgeous. If you haven't tried, you got to try it. This isn't a staple. I know for a lot of people, when I kind of mentioned that I'm going to put Coromandel in my ambers, they're like, I don't know, is Coromandel amber? Like it's more patchouli. But to me, it's a lot of patchouli and amber. Next fragrance that I'm going to be talking about is from the House of Guerlain, Oriental Guerlain. This is from the Elixir Charnel collection. You see in the bottom over there, it says Elixir Charnel. Not very well, probably. Hold on. It says Elixir Charnel there. Can't focus. And the way in these bottles, there were several fragrances in this collection, including Gourmand Coquine. I think it was Bois Torride, Songe d'un Bois d'été, maybe. And this one, I don't know if there's and French Kiss. I think and French Kiss is in Elixir Charnel. And the way you know the names of these fragrances, because it's not in the front and it's not in the back and not in the bottom. Maybe it's in the bottom. You see, nope, not on the bottom either. Then the way you know the names of these fragrances, it's over there at the bottom. Let's see if we can focus this for me. You may not focus right now. Here, you see it's written right here. Oh, yes, you see it right there in the bottom of the bottle. As you see, it says Oriental Guerlain. This is a 2008 release, and it's Christine Nagel and Sylvain Delacourt at the time that Sylvain was working with Guerlain. And obviously, the notes you see there is the tangerine, almond, styrax, vanilla, and tonka bean. First time I tried this fragrance, I think it was early on in my fragrance world time. I want to avoid using Journey because I don't like Journey. But and at the time, I don't know if my sample had gone bad or what was going on. It didn't smell good. Whatever it was, I put it away. I was like, ugh, is this people are talking about, raving about? I don't like this at all. So I put sample away, didn't think about it until this fragrance was being sold in a combo with another fragrance that I really wanted. I ended up giving in and bought the combo. And I said, well, maybe I'll try again. Maybe my nose has matured and this will be different now. And of course it was. And this time around, I find it quite magical, this fragrance. This might lean a little bit feminine, traditionally feminine side, comparing to the other two that I mentioned, Mitra and Coromandel. They're quite unisex. This, because of the almond, and I think there's some heliotrope in this one, is quite powdery in the mid, and that may make some people think that this is probably traditionally more masculine and more feminine leaning. This is all about the vanilla styrax and, heliotrope and almond. Oh, so good. So good. And that tangerine lasts in this one, which is kind of, usually citrusy notes don't last, but I do get hints of it over time. Longevity sillage is great, and I have no problems with longevity or sillage. If I was going to kick one fragrance out of my top 10, it would be this, and I would replace it with Sultan Pasha's Amber. Lucky for Oriental Burman, I had not got my Sultan Pasha Amber at the time, so this has stayed in this year's top 10 Ambers. We'll see if it will make it to next year. The next fragrance from my list, and these are not by any order, I'm just like, I couldn't pick an order. That's too much of an ask for me. The next one is Burberry Amber Heath, and this is it's a little bit different from the bottle that you see in the picture. So this is Burberry Amber Heath, and this is still available in the market. Burberry Amber Heath, 10% I have. I wonder if the one in the picture is also 10%. This is a Francis Kurkdjian fragrance. So if you know him and his ambers, he does very well with his ambers, especially in the ambers that he put out a few years ago. And this is basically, it came out in several concentrations. So there was a 20%, I think. There's a 30%, and then there's a 49.5%. I was introduced to this one at 49.5% concentration when my good friend Tara, who lives in Minneapolis, we had gone there for a trip. She came and picked me up from the hotel, and as soon as I hugged her, she smelled so heavenly. She smelled like Burberry Amber Heath. Like that's the smell was like it felt like I hugged God. Smelled so good. And I asked her, what are you wearing? She said, I'm wearing a Burberry Amber Heath. And then she brought the sample for me generously. And the 49.5%, where I have a very low partial of it at the moment, this is the 49.5%. I'm sorry if it's not, yes, there you go. This is truly a unicorn. If you have a bottle of this and are you thinking of getting rid of it after I raved about this so badly, please do consider me. Pretty please. The 10% is very good. Is very good. It's available. It's not talked about, and I don't know why. I mean, this line of Burberry, nobody talks about them, and it's so underrated. This one is all about all the cozy notes that we talked about with the benzoin, amber, labdanum. Of course, you say a labdanum and Mitra will be there. Balsams, and then ambergris. It's just the perfect touch. You know how with the salted caramel, that like few grains of salt. I'm not saying the smell like at all. Like I'm not talking about that. But you know when that with the salted caramel, they put like 2, 3, 4 grains of salt in that, kind of like the final touch, and it makes the world of difference. The ambergris adds that little bit of a salt to this whole concoction of ambers, and it makes a huge difference to the fragrance and sets it apart from all the other ones that we talked about. So good. And obviously you see the notes in there: ambergris, vanilla, patchouli, benzoin, amber, labdanum, tule balsam, tonka bean, and Peru balsam. Gorgeous fragrance. Longevity sillage is great. 49.5% concentration. It's almost like an oil, and it will stay on your clothes forever. I only put it out for very, very special occasions because I don't have much of it either, and I don't think that I will come across another bottle. This is one of the unicorns. I've had so many unicorns that I found them eventually, but this one is one of the unicorns that I don't think that I will ever find. But please prove me wrong. That's what I'm saying. Next one is one and only Tom Ford Amber Absolute. I have only a decanter of this one, and you see my webcam, not a bottle. And I think this is a more like a recent version of Amber Absolute. I know that it's discontinued, but I think a couple of years ago, my friend was at the L'Oreal outlet sale, and she was there, and she sent me a text with the picture of this one and the Black Violet's decanter, and it's like, do you want these? And I was like, absolutely, I want those for a great deal. So I ended up getting a decanter of each. And this one is all that's in talking about labdanum. Incense is a little bit amped up in this one. It's not as sweet as a lot of other ambers that I've mentioned. I would say Mitra and Coromandel, and to a certain degree, like the Oriental Bourlon, are much sweeter than this. But it's such a beautiful amber, and it cuts through the cold so well. Like, it's so well. I don't know why they discontinued this. This must be one of their best sellers at the time. Maybe I'm wrong. This is heavenly. It's absolutely heavenly. But there's that smokiness and incense a little bit amped up in this one. And it's not as sweet. Gorgeous, gorgeous fragrance by Tom Ford. If you get a chance to try it, do so. If you get an older version, then you're very lucky. I don't know. I've seen a few bottles of it going. I think it's about like 30, 300, 400, like for 50 bottle, which is a lot of money. But if you can find the early version, I think it's worth it. This is the 2007 release, and the perfumer is Christopher Lodemir. Beautiful fragrance. Next we have, this is one of the early ambers in my collection. So I feel like it's pronounced Amber Précieux, but Rich tells me it's Amber Précieux, which is kind of like, why? If it's French, it would be Précieux, but I may be wrong. So this one from the house Mitra-et-le-Parfum Gantier, this I don't know, I think I just saw it in one of the groups. I blind bought it, and I adore this fragrance. I have this bottle, which is kind of the current version of the bottle with the little red cap in there. And then I also have the older version of this fragrance, which the whole bottle is red like this, and the cap is like that. So I have both versions. They're quite the same. There's not much of a difference between the two. And I also have another half bottle. I hoard this fragrance for myself. I think this is, like one of the ones that I've always kind of wanted. I think I sold one of my backups at some point, and then I was looking for it, and I just got it. It was just a whole story. Anyhow, this one is a gorgeous lavender and myrrh in the top, and then that myrrh kind of lasts throughout the fragrance. And I don't know what it is in this one, and there's no animalics listed here, but in the morning when I was smelling this, it barely ever comes up on my skin, but in the morning I was getting a little bit of animalics in this one. I think it's maybe just a combination of the nutmeg and some balsams in the base. It was giving that. Not so much right now, which is just funny. Next time I will put it on my skin, I will pay more attention to it. But the gist of it is a lot of myrrh, a lot of vanilla, nutmeg, and the balsams. This is an old fragrance, apparently. This is 1988, so it's been around for a while, and it is a Jean-François Laporte fragrance. Now, this line, Mitra-et-le-Parfum Gantier, is not an easy fragrance or easy line to get in Canada. And they have another one called Amber Tibet, and that's absolutely beautiful, although I prefer this one over Amber Tibet, but Amber Tibet is beautiful as well, and it has a little bit of a difference with this one. And if you can get your hands on that one, please do so. This line, never talked about. I don't know why. It's underrated. So I like to mention it when I have a chance. The next one is a fragrance that I did not put it on the blotter again for this second take on the video, because it is so precious. It is Amber Elixir Précieux from Dior. I don't know what is the state of the Elixir Précieux line. With Dior, I know I heard the rumor that they were being discontinued. I don't know if they are. And I can't imagine them being big sellers because there's only 3 ml of fragrance inside a bottle, and the price of it was over $600. So it is absolutely outrageous, the price of it, but it is a fragrance oil. So you see inside, I'll show you here, you see that is the level of the oil inside, and they come in this kind of dabbers. I think this collection was made to do like layering. It was like to add to your amber, perfume or whatever. You can do your own mixing combo. So I obviously did not buy this retail. I bought it from someone, and I have a backup of this one, and I'm not selling the backup. I have considered selling the backup, but I am not selling the backup at the moment. Did not put it on a blotter because it's too precious for that. I only wear it in very special occasions. And if you layer this one with, which I'm not really for layering, but this fragrance are made for layering. But if you do layer these two, oh, let me see. Oh, let's turn around. If you layer these two, you may end up smelling like God. I'm telling you, it's a magical layering. This one is a Francois de Manchy fragrance, and I think it is Etude. I don't know what year they are from. The year wasn't mentioned, or I couldn't find it. And the note is amber. This one has some animalics in it. There's some skank in there, and I feel like there's some spices, maybe cinnamon, maybe a little bit of a nutmeg, obviously some labdanum in there, maybe touch of rose. I'm not 100% sure, but there is some animalic in there. And if you like, but it's not really skanky animalic in a way that it would be unpleasant. And you know me, I don't like animalics like that, but this is absolutely gorgeous. The longevity and sillage in this fragrance is nuclear. You only need one dab, really, maybe two, and then on its own or with your fragrance, it will fill the room. Like, this is absolutely gorgeous. The best ones from this collection are this one and patchouli. I also have the musk one. People rave about the rose. I'm not really a rose person, so I never got it. And people also rave about jasmine, and that smells good. I've smelled it at the Dior boutique in 2023, but I'm also not a very jasmine person. So I have a musk, I have two ambers, and I have a patchouli of this collection. Absolutely gorgeous. If you can get your hands on, like, I paid about 200, maybe 250 USD for mine. If you can get your hand on that price, get. And if you're really considering it, maybe not a bad deal, but at 600, it's like exorbitant price. I do not regret having them in my collection, though. I'm gonna say this might be the most expensive per ml perfume that I own, but I do not regret having them in my collection. Next one, let's talk about here. Let's see, it's a Dolce & Gabbana Velvet Amber Sun, and here is my old version 150 ml bottle. But now, for a while. So they used to make these in 150 ml and 50 ml, and then for a while they were really hard to get and weren't available to buy. So there was a rumor that, oh my God, they were discontinued. And no, they just changed them to the 100 mLs. And I have not tried the 100 ml side by side by the 150 ml version to see if there's a difference between them. I haven't heard much about them because nobody talks about this line now. The newer one is called Velvet Amber Zafrano. I've got that bottle as well, and that's absolutely beautiful. It is getting some hype because it's available in Sephora, I guess. And then they also have Velvet Infusion. That one, it was like tea-like fragrance. It wasn't much to go to town for, but Velvet Safrano was absolutely beautiful. There was also two others from this line. I think one was called Passion Oud and another one called something Oud, Velvet Amber Oud maybe, something like that. And they were nice too. So they may be in my purchase list for next. So this one is a 2017 release and by Frank Vocal, and you have all the notes there. Labdanum, hi, and Mitra is there for you. There's smoke, pepper. There is amberwood in this one, and you know me and amberwood, but amberwood is just there in the background, giving it some, like, you know, I think it's a texture. It's not overdosed amberwood by any means. Mostly is all the other ambers, the benzoin, myrrh, olibanum, labdanum, and a little bit of a cinnamon and patchouli. I don't smell ylang ylang. I don't. It's like I don't like overdose of ylang ylang in fragrances, and I don't smell it here. Oh, it's so beautiful. This is one of those. So I had a bottle of this one, and I sold it to Tara, my good friend in Minneapolis, at the beginning when we started chatting. And then usually I spray the fragrance before I kind of wrap it up, because I want to make sure that the spray is working. So I sprayed it on myself, went out, and then come back home and wrapped it up and whatnot, and dropped it off at the post office. However, this fragrance stayed on the jacket for days, and every single day that went by, I was like, oh my God, I regret selling it, to the point that I asked people to look for one for me. And eventually I got a text from someone. It's like, I found you a bottle. Anyway, so I got this one. I have another partial, and I think I have 100 ml of the newer version in my collection. Absolutely gorgeous, underrated. I don't know why. There's also Velvet Amber Sun, Velvet Amber Skin from this collection that is absolutely gorgeous, but I prefer this one over that one. Next, we have Ambra Oria by Parfum Aroma. There is a little bit of a confusion about date of release on this one. Some people are saying 1998, and some people are saying 2000. I don't know who the perfumer is. You know, if you know this line of fragrances, they come in, so this is the bottle. They come in with a dabber. They come in with a dabber and also sprayer. So these fragrances are the ones that you could rub it, and it's okay. Like the composition of fragrance won't change because of the concentration. This is one of the most beautiful ambers that is out there. There's another amber from, I think it's called Amber Fiora or something, in this collection that I want to smell. So good. Myrrh, incense, amber. It must be some vanilla. It must be some labdanum. Yeah, I feel like there must be some vanilla, like touch of vanilla and benzoin in this one. Absolutely gorgeous fragrance. It is really thick, so the projection isn't like beastly. You won't get like a projection of, like, I don't know, 10 feet, but it will fill the room once you're in the room for a while. And every time you move around, you get a whiff of yourself. It's absolutely gorgeous fragrance, absolutely worth to try. Last, let's see, what did I say the year? Yes. Last but not least is from Francis Kurkdjian, Maison Francis Kurkdjian, is Absolute Pour le Soir. The bottle that I have, I found this bottle, which is a year of release bottle, serendipitously, if I said that word correctly, in one of the fragrance groups, and it was a release year bottle, brand new in box, for a good price, and it's not fake. Francis, why don't you stick to your freaking ambers and stop making candy fragrances? This is so good. I don't know what you do with your ambers that are so good. It pisses me off that you put on stuff like Kirky. Like, come on, man. What happened? Did you give up on us? I am reaching out to you. I'm looking you in the eye. Please stick to your ambers. Anyways, this is so, 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 so good. Year of release 2010, has white honey, benzoin, incense, sandalwood, atlas cedar, ylang ylang, rose, and cumin. From like about 10 to 20 seconds until about like good like 20 minutes. Cumin is quite present in there, but this is not, and it adds a little bit of skank to the fragrance, but it's not too much at all. It's not off-putting. It's not nauseating. It works so well. It's just done just right. It's added just right touch to this. I have talked to some people who have tried the newer version because, as you know, this fragrance has come back to the market. And they tell me it doesn't have this kind of animalic, cuminy touch into it. So I don't know. I have not tried per se myself. But I assume it's also a good fragrance. I mean, I haven't tried. I may get a bottle of the new one just for the comparison, or a decant of a new one just for comparison. But if you can get your hands on this year of release, go ahead and do it, especially if you like what I described. The longevity sillage is nuclear in this one as well. So guys, that was it. That is my spiel on my favorite amber fragrances. As I said, if I had Sultan Pasha's amber, that would be in this list, and it would be a number one in the list. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. Please let me know what are your favorite ambers. Let me know what new ambers you have tried and you have enjoyed. What are the comforting ambers for you in the comments? I always like to hear from you in the comments. If you like the content, please like, subscribe, and turn on the notification button to be notified next time I go live. Love you all, and have a great day, week, wherever you night, whenever you're watching this video. Love you all. Bye-bye.